together because they have the same career. But if you have the same foundation, if you have the same morals, values, and principles, it can work. And if you feel like, as I said, if you feel like Islam is the right way, because I told you last week I don't discriminate against anybody's religion, even though I was baptized into Christianity. But I said to him that if you feel like Islam is the right way, show her the right way. But his wife was, I don't want to use the word stubborn, but she's a Christian, and he was complaining that she wants to stay in Christianity. And maybe she's right. Maybe not to say I understand that the man is the leader, but maybe she's right. But I was saying that as long as you have a foundation of morals, values, and principles, everything, like, it's okay for, like, in a relationship, it's okay for, okay, he's athletic and she's not, but she better take care of her body though at the same time. Or he's extrovert, she's introvert, vice versa. He's this way, she's that way. Those type of differences are okay, but your moral compass is the foundation. That's the yoke that has to be equal. You have to be equally yoked in your morals, values, and principles as a man and a woman. If you don't have that, it's gonna fail. And if people didn't understand that before, they should have understood that by 2020. All these divorces, all these friendships, you know, the politics, the difference in beliefs, and maybe you're right. I guess religion differences as well. Everything came to a head in 2020. So if you don't realize that, whoever's in a relationship, you know, but again, you could be an introvert and she could be extrovert. You like to go outdoors, she doesn't. You like to climb mountains, she doesn't. That's okay. Those differences are okay, because that's the segment of opposites attract. But again, like I said, if you have the same morals, values, and principles, and you have the same beliefs, not necessarily religion, but just day to day, then it's going to work. If not, it's not going to work.
Well, see, here's the thing with that. In theory, it sounds cool, but life is not theoretical. That's the problem. And when it comes to preference, I really don't care what my woman's preference is. You know, if my favorite color is red. If her favorite color is blue, then that's fine. We decorate the house blue. I really don't. I mean, that's of no consequence to me. But like you said, your morals and values have to coincide. You know, they have to be the same, because when you have a passionate disagreement, both parties have to humble themselves to something. Now, this is where conservatives in the political realm kind of like get messed up. When it comes to morality, where does morality come from? Who sets the standard of morality? Because a lot of times people will get into the whole discussion of, well, your right is not my right. Who's to say that what you're saying is immoral? Who is the arbiter? That's what some people will say. So, you know, this concept about religion that we all have, you know, we say that you can be a good person, you can have your values and whatnot, but, you know, you can also have that aside from your religion, and it's not true. Well, this is my opinion. It's not true, because everything we do, we yield to something. I'm a Christian, and being a Christian is all about yielding to God's will. Now, somebody can call themselves a Christian. They may be a good person and all that, but they're yielding to their own conscience. Whereas a true believer is yielding to the will of God. Because when something, the problem is when what seems right is in opposition to God's will, are you going to do it? Now, a real believer is going to do it. You know, I mean, when what seems right is in opposition to God's will, a true believer is not going to do it. Now, when you are your own moral compass, when something seems right, when something when the right thing is in opposition to what you believe is right and what's wrong, you're gonna go with yourself. And that's the problem when two people of different convictions get together. Your convictions got to be the same when it comes to morality and who sets those standards. This is just my opinion. Okay, I may be wrong. I don't want to force my opinions on everybody, but I have to take everything back to the Bible. Because
going back to conservatism, right? Do you think conservatism is exclusive to Christianity as far as religions are concerned? Because I think Muslims
I don't
tend to have conservatism as well.
I don't think the whole concept of conservatism is exclusive to Christians. However, just like you said, what is conservatism? You're trying to conserve, right? What are you trying to conserve? You're trying to conserve the mores, the values, and what? The traditions.
Culture.
What are the traditions in America? Are they Christian or are they Muslim?
America is Christian for the most part.
So by virtue of that, all these people, all these conservatives, they really need to examine what they're espousing by their rhetoric.
Really,
a lot of them don't really stop to think about what they're saying. I'm not, and I say that I'm not trying to put anything out there. I'm not trying to say that I'm impartial to Muslims or I'm biased against Muslims. I'm not saying that at all. When I'm just answering the question, in reference to in context of what we're talking about. When we talk about conservatism, we're talking about American conservatism. So, all this opening up the gates to everybody, that it don't work like that.
Conservatism. That's liberalism. If you open the gates to everybody, it's liberalism.
Exactly.
So in a nutshell, you think that if the man is a Muslim and the woman's a Christian, that's just one example. Or if he's Jewish, he's Christian, or whatever, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It's not. It can work if it will work if both of them have weak convictions, weak spiritual convictions. And what I mean by spiritual conviction, that's just another word for faith. Faith is what you're convinced of. You're convincing something that is. You're convinced of a certain truth. So
how about they're from the same country? Let's take I'm trying to think of a country that has Catholics and Muslims. Well, Ethiopia is like that. Ethiopia has Catholics and Ethiopia has Muslims. Albania is actually like probably the only European country that's saturated with Catholicism and Islam too. So let's say there's an Albanian man and woman, or let's say there's an Ethiopian man and woman. One of them is Catholic. In these two couples, like there's an Albanian couple, one of them is Catholic, one of them is Muslim. There's an Ethiopian couple, one of them is Catholic, one of them is Muslim. Will it work? Being that they're the same culture and ethnicity.
It's gonna work if you're only serving, if you're not trying to serve God, or if a Muslim is not trying to serve Allah, it will work.
So it'll work in the flesh, but not in the spirit.
Exactly, it will work in the flesh. But see, what people fail to realize is life is not all flesh, and people that believe that life is all flesh, they don't live a high quality of life.
No,
they're always after material things. Life is all spiritual. I can even postulate it from a scientific perspective. Energy, matter is made of energy, right? We cannot see energy. We can see energy at work, but when energy slows down, it materializes into what? Matter. So all life is spiritual. People don't want to admit it, but it is. Why do you see a lot of rich people? They're miserable. They have all these material things, but they're not fulfilled. They're empty inside. They don't have a purpose for tomorrow. If everything is about just feeding your desires and your appetites, you know, you're always gonna be you're never gonna be satiated. So I mean, like I said, if it's fleshly, it will work, but it's not gonna work for long because the flesh dies really quick.
So speaking of feeding your desires and your appetite, if a man is a Christian and his woman is a Christian, they were bound together by God, right? And what happens if he cheats on his Christian wife with a woman that has a BBL?
I don't know. Like, you know,